In today's Razorback Daily, Hagen Smith is a finalist for the Golden Spikes Award. Plus, get to know new Arkansas linebacker Stephen Dix. It's Friday, June 7th, 2024. I'm Quinn Grovey alongside my man Matt Zimmerman, and you're listening to the Razorback Daily.
All right, folks, how about it? It is Friday for Razorback Athletics. This has been kind of a quiet week. Normally, we've got 1,000 things going, and we have had 1,000 things going about every week since August of 2023. This one's been slower, obviously, but we still got track. We'll talk about that in a minute. Chance to win 2 national championships this weekend up in Eugene. But Quinn, big news yesterday in an otherwise quiet week. Hagen Smith has been named one of the finalists for the Golden Spikes Award, college baseball's top award. We've had a couple of winners of that. Andrew Benintendi, Kevin Copps. It's a huge deal to win this. And so he would be our third Razorbacks ever to win the Golden Spikes. I think it will be probably not unlikely. He is an incredible player, the best pitcher in the nation, but this Georgia outfielder Charlie Condon has broke records. He led the nation in like home runs, RBIs, hitting percentage. Yeah. He did stuff that has not been done in 40, 50 years in college baseball, Charlie Condon. And then the other finalist, Quinn, is Oregon State infielder Travis Bazzani. So I guess that's how you say it, Bazzana. And we played against him. He's highly thought of. He's a hitting machine and a great defensive player. But Quinn, the honors should continue to come in for Hagen Smith, an All-American, and here he is with a chance to win the Golden Spikes. Hagen.
Yeah, which is the baseball's version of the Heisman Trophy. And so that is a big deal. And like you said, we've already had 2 previous winners, which I really, really love. But Hagen is a guy that has been just flat out dominant. I mean, I think everybody across the nation understands how dominant he has been. I think with him being a high-profile pitcher in one of the best conferences in America, I think more people may know who he is across the country than some of these other guys. So I think hopefully he has an opportunity to win that award. But see, I saw this stat, man. I don't know if you've seen this stat, but it says in his first inning of the season and his last inning of the season, he gave up 9 earned runs. First and the last.
So he didn't give up that many the rest of the year, did he?
The 82 innings in between, he gave up 10.
Wow.
Think about that,
82 innings, gave up 10 runs.
So he got caught in that bad situation against James Madison right off the bat in that very first inning. And then the last inning that he pitched, I mean, ended up giving up 9 earned runs in the first and last inning, and then 10 in the 82 innings that he pitched in between. So to me, that shows the dominance of I was getting ready to say Kevin Copps, Hagen Smith. So hopefully he has an opportunity to win this award, man.
Yeah, that'd be awesome if he could. And Quinn, doesn't it just seem like yesterday when we had Kevin Copps on the daily and we were talking to him? Time flies by. That's been 3 years ago, but it's interesting that the Hagen 9-2, right at a 2-point ERA, 2.04, and then you talked about 161 strikeouts, amazing single season record, and broke David Walling's record that had been around for over 20 years. And so it was pretty impressive what he did. And then the really only 2 bad, he went 9-2, and I was looking back through his stuff, and he started 10 series in the SEC, never lost a game. And he had a couple times where we had the lead when he left, and then the team came back and tied it, and then he didn't get the win because they came back and tied it, and then we would end up winning the game. And if you look through his stuff, there's really at least 4 other games where he pitched well enough to win, and he ended up not getting the win because we didn't score enough runs. Maybe we ended up winning the game. That would make him 13-2, but the two losses were the last 2 in the Southeastern Conference tournament, and then the game against Southeast Missouri. So what a great season for Hagen. I saw him yesterday, just waved at him and in the baseball building, and he's still around. A lot of those guys are still around this week. I've been at
$100 bills fall out of his pocket?
No, they didn't. I gave him $500 for his efforts. But That's a joke. I think I probably could, but
He
I,
looked like new
I
money,
I
huh?
don't have. Yeah, he looked like new money. I don't have it to throw around, but man, it was nice to see him. Those guys have been around over there. They've not been hiding from the building. Sometimes when you have a hard loss and it ends as disappointing as that did, guys disappear. And I know some of those guys will be going off to play summer ball. Some of them will stay here. Some of them will go home. But they've been around this week. I've seen a lot of those guys, and so I know they're having their meetings. Guys are making decisions, and there are still. When you go, I went through the whole roster. I'd like to talk about this next week, Tara. If we can spend a segment on it before. But I mean, I went through the roster, and there's a lot more guys that could come back than you think. Doesn't mean that they will, but guys that have eligibility left. It was very interesting to me. I mean, all from many of them, many guys that could
Yeah.
definitely come back, and some that there was a few, there was a handful that can't, but there's guys that can, like Will McIntyre, been here 5 years. He's still got another year of eligibility. I mean, Tiger, all these guys, we don't know what they're going to do. Kendall Diggs, but there's so many guys, and then of course the young guys got to make decisions. But congratulations to Hagen Smith. That is a big honor. I hope he wins. Nothing against Charlie Condon. Don't know him. He hadn't been on the daily. So we hope Hagen Smith wins as Quinn says, the Heisman Trophy of college baseball.
Yeah. And with that, Z, we got some basketball news as well, man. DJ Wagner is officially a Razorback, 6'4", 195 sophomore guard from transferring from Kentucky. I mean, everybody's been waiting on DJ Wagner to come through. He's finally come through. He was on the SEC All Freshman team last season, and so we've played against him. We know about him, and so he was a highly, highly recruited guy coming out of high school, and now he's a Razorback.
Yeah, that's been done for a while. We really can't talk about it on here until all the paperwork is signed. And so we've not been able to discuss him a lot, but it was pretty much done the day Cal took the job at Arkansas. But I think DJ did want to see what happened at Kentucky and see if there was anything that he might would want to stay for or do. But I saw his grandfather play a lot. Milt Wagner was a great player at
Ooh,
Louisville.
I didn't know that.
Talking about Kenny Payne, that is his granddad, Milt Wagner, and he was a great player. Never ended up being the great pro that we thought he was going to be, or many people thought. But for those of you that are over 45 years old, you will remember Milt Wagner and his outstanding career. Milt was a great player and did play in the NBA some, Milt, but he was a phenomenal college player for Denny Crum. And then he is the son, and I didn't coach against Milt Wagner, but I watched him 100 times, but I coached a lot. Against DeJuan Wagner. I was an assistant coach at the University of Alabama, Birmingham. DeJuan Wagner was an All American at the University of Memphis under John Calipari. He also played in the NBA. Not a huge, long, star-studded NBA career, but he did make the NBA, and that's his dad. So that's DeJuan Wagner Jr. there, and they call him DJ, and he's a Camden, New Jersey guy. That's where the Wagner family comes from, and he's about 6'4", 6'3", 180. It looks like 185. He's a strong guard. He can attack, and Quinn, when he came out of high school, this is what we talk about with Coach Cal. He gets the number one player, or the number two player, or both, or the number five player, or the number eight player, or all of those. He might. There's going to be years he's going to get 5 or 6 of the top 10 at Arkansas. Folks, let that sink in. We've not had that. We've had Todd Day and Lee Mayberry were considered 2 of the top 10 by everyone in the country, and that was a huge deal. We went to a Final Four. Um, Anthony Black, Nick Smith, Jordan Walsh. Some considered him 3 of the top 10. Most of the big recruiting services had him 3 of the top 15. And either way, 3 of the top 3. That's going to be nothing compared to what Cal's going to do. He's going to have 3 of the top 5. And with Dan Hurley looking like he's going to go to the Lakers, this was the dominant program in college basketball. UConn. The last 2 seasons they have dominated, and that's going to be gone. I'm not saying whoever gets there is not going to do well. It's UConn,
They're
but
not
they're
gonna
not
do
going to do
as
what they.
well.
No, 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 no. Are they going to win the next 2 championships like Dan Hurley? Just no, no, they're not. And so that's a huge thing for Arkansas. And we might have beat UConn's butt with Dan Hurley, but now now you may not have to worry about that. I think that is really, really big. But DJ Wagner's a good player. I did not think he played well in Bud Walton Arena, which we've talked about that with a lot of the former Kentucky guys that have played here. Over all these interviews and conversations and Razorback film rooms on August Plus, we've talked about like Zavonimir. He came to Bud Walton. He looked like a deer in the deer in the headlights. He'd only been in like 2 or 3 college games. He comes here. He looked poor, didn't play well. But when we went to Rupp 5 weeks later, Zavonimir kicked our tail. He looked like an All-American. And DJ, same way with Thiero. He's had games in Bud Walton where he didn't. This year, he was bad in Bud Walton. The year before that, though, Thiero made some big plays, made a couple big free throws late and helped beat us the year before last when Anthony Black and Jordan and them were here. So some of these guys have struggled against the Razorbacks, and at times they've played great. Same for DJ. When they beat us in here, he did not. You go back and watch that film, he didn't play very well. But the last 3 or 4 minutes, Quinn, he made a couple, him and Reed Shepard and Antonio Reeves made the big plays to beat us. And then when we went to Rupp, we had that incredible high-scoring game in Rupp, and they beat us like 109 to 102. Quinn, he looked like the number 2 overall player coming out of high school that he was advertised. He really played well against us in Rupp. He controlled the ball with a dribble. He drove
knocking
it.
down threes too, right?
He made in the first half of the game. He made 3.
Yeah.
3 threes.
Yeah.
He can shoot the basketball. He can hit a mid-range. This is a guy that's going to be an NBA guard. Quinn, listen to this. And I was talking to my friend Eric Bossy from 247 Sports, and he loves him. He was the number 2 overall player in America by ESPN. He was number 3 overall player in America by my friend Eric Bossy, who is the top college basketball writer for 247 Sports. He was also the number 3. This isn't the number 3 ranked point guard. This isn't the number 3 ranked guard. This is the number 3 ranked player, period, in all of college, in all of high school basketball. This is a top 3 guy. This is the Corliss Williamson that we got. And it's incredible. He was so good, and he was at Camden High School, really good. He won a state championship there. He was a 2-time New Jersey Gatorade Player of the Year. New Jersey, folks, it's not very big. It's about this. It's about from Fayetteville to about Mena. It's about that size, but they produce some of the best players every year, and they have done it for the end of time, from all the way back to Patrick Ewing. The state of New Jersey produces phenomenal players, and DJ Wagner is an awesome basketball player, and he could lead Arkansas to a national championship. He's that good with the talent that's coming as well. This guy's he's gonna light it on fire. And he's older, a year older now. He's gonna be 19, 20 years old. Big time player. Say goodbye to contacts, glasses, or bifocals with LASIK or clear lens exchange by Vold Vision right here in NWA. Mention the Razorback Daily Podcast, folks, and we always appreciate you listening. But you will get $500 off your LASIK or clear lens exchange procedure. Quick 15-minute procedure, easy 24-hour recovery, no matter your age, freedom from contacts and from glasses. Hey, it's still an option for you. Vold Vision. Dr. Stephen Vold is the official eye care provider of your Arkansas Razorbacks. Go Hogs, go Vold. At Arvest Bank, we've got loans and we've got lines of credit for almost anything. Need to improve your home, consolidate some debt, or maybe purchase a vehicle. Apply online today at arvest.com/loans, arvest.com/loans. Equal housing lender. All loans are subject to credit approval. Let Graduate Fayetteville be home base during your next trip to beautiful Razorback country, whether you're in town rooting for a Razorback win or making a night of it on Dixon Street. We're perfectly located, close to campus and just a short stroll from shops, restaurants, and everything else that downtown Fayetteville has to offer. Book this season stays. GraduateHotels.com/Fayetteville. You will love the Graduate Hotel. If you grow soybeans around here, you need a fungicide that lasts all season long. One that gets absorbed quickly, starts working fast, and just keeps on working. You need Revaloc fungicide made to fight Corsivora, leaf blight, and frog eye leaf spot. It's the solution that you can depend on for a stronger, longer, disease control that helps your crop reach its highest yield potential. Revilock fungicide from our good friends at BASF. Always read and always follow label instructions. Folks, we got something special for you. Stephen Dix, and when you hear this young man, he's another one of our football newcomers. You can tell he's older and he's pretty mature, and you can see that and you can hear that. And Tara sat down with him on hogsplus.com, Stephen Dix. And Quinn, before we play this clip, okay, I was looking at his stuff, all right? He played at Florida State in 2020. Folks, this is 2024. Well, that was the COVID year, 20-21. Nobody in college athletics that counted. So he played quite a bit there. 2021, he played at Florida State. That's his first year of eligibility counting. 2022, he's still at Florida State. So they knew he was pretty good. This wasn't a kid that got ran off. He was hurt. So his first and third years, he played his first year but didn't count. He didn't play his third year because he was hurt. So he's been at Florida State 3 school years. Only one of them counts, NCAA eligibility. Believe it or not, there still are eligibility rules. In 2023, he played at Marshall, Quinn, and Tara says he had 67 tackles, 7 tackles for losses, 2 sacks, 4 hurries, 1 pass breakup, and he recovered a fumble. Okay, so he had a pretty darn good year at Marshall, and I think they were okay. So that's his second year counting. Quinn, he's at Arkansas in 2024. If I'm right, if I'm looking at this, he has 2 years of eligibility. He is at least a 19, 20, 21, 22. He's either 22 or 23. He might be 24. And he still has 2 full years of eligibility. This guy could be a difference maker at linebacker. We will see. Quinn.
Well, this is what I like about having you as a former basketball coach and having to do schedules and eligibility and how many years remaining. I mean, you think this stuff up on the fly, which is really informative before people even really start talking about it. So I like to hear that. But I mean, he's a big time guy. I mean, the one thing that I noticed was what Terry talked about was he squats 650 pounds and benches 365. Now, I'm not a rocket scientist, but I'm telling you that's he's pretty strong.
Yeah.
And so and that's at your linebacker position. We've talked about trying to figure out ways to get bigger, stronger, faster linebackers. And I think they've done that. I mean, when you look at this linebacker class, I mean, you got Xavier Sorey from Georgia, 6'3", 224. Stephen Dix from Florida State, or Marshall, 6'1", 237. Alex Sanford, 6'1", 226. Brad Spence, 6'2", 240. Bradley Shaw. I mean, all those guys they're meaty, they're thick, and they can run. And so that's what you'd like to see. But let's go ahead and take a listen to what Stephen Dix had to say.
But you ended up transferring out of Florida State, right? Yeah. So why did you make that decision? And you went to Marshall?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did that happen?
I would say leaving Florida State was just better for my career. I think that at the time where I was at, it was just a situation that, it's just, you just had to deal with it. And I think, leaving there and my coaches, telling me like, knowing that what I wanted to do and who I wanted to be as a player, they said that it would just be best for me to leave, because of that mutual respect that we have. And I appreciate them for that because, that was just helping me accomplish my dreams and goals because they knew what I wanted to do. And they knew that being at Florida State, it wasn't going to happen there. So they wanted me to help keep my dream alive by telling me, you should probably go somewhere else. So going to Marshall, probably the greatest thing that ever happened to me in my career. I'm not going to lie. Going to Marshall was definitely good for my career. I'm so thankful I went there. Thankful to Coach Huff and Coach Seymour for giving me that opportunity, and Coach Morrison, who also recruited me at the time, who was my linebacker coach.
Yeah.
But, I love those guys. Herb Bro for life, man. Like 100%.
I worked one of the bowl games a couple of years ago. I think it was right before you actually probably went to Marshall. And Coach Huff is just so nice.
Yeah.
He's one of the nicest coaches I've worked with before. So
funniest coach ever,
that
too.
That too, yeah.
100%.
What'd you take away from your time there?
I definitely would say that I knew how to kind of enjoy the process more. Yeah. Definitely knew how to work when I saw those guys, especially from a school like them, because they're, I guess, technically on like a lower level. But I mean, that team right there that I was a part of, that I walked into, I was like, this is the team I could go compete against any Power 5 school in the country, like without a doubt, just the way they work. Yeah. So, going there, I really saw that. And I just thought like, man, like I can do it really from anywhere. And I think being there and my time there has really helped me grow as a player and as and a person, honestly, man. And I done built so many friendships and relationships with those guys, man. You know, they know like I'm like they brothers for life, honestly.
And now you've got just a different level of maturity, I'm sure, too,
Absolutely.
having gone through those several years at different programs.
Yeah.
How does that help you now as you become a Razorback?
I think it just teaches me really how to be like the athlete that I want to be when it comes to being disciplined and consistent. I think that the lessons that I've learned through Florida State and going to Marshall have really prepared me for this moment to, you know, be at this stage here playing for Arkansas in the SEC, man. Because I think on my visit when I was talking to everybody, they just said, like, I don't know what it is, but they just said the SEC is just different, man. And being here and growing up watching it, I'm like, man, like that's something that I always wanted to do. And to find myself here, honestly, is like, it's just like a full circle moment, man, knowing that, like, you know, because I'm a man of faith, honestly. Like, I do believe that God has brought me here for a reason, and he has put me through the path and the journey that I've been through for a reason. So I'm excited.
You know, I know that I've talked with T. Will and Woodson a couple times, and faith is a big part for them, too. I think they pray before some of their meetings and stuff. So did that play any type of role when you were looking at them and thinking about how you were going to play for them?
I definitely think that is it showed that was a coach that I can play for, honestly, and that's a coach that I can definitely respect because that is the foundation of who I am as a man. Like, before I'm anything, I'm a man of God, 100%. So seeing that's how he constructs himself and how he conducts himself, and that's how he moves forward when he's coaching the team. I think that's something that was very valuable to me, and it meant a lot, honestly.
What was it about Arkansas outside of that appealed to you when you were looking for another spot to land?
I would say definitely just the want. Like, it wasn't like we're thinking about bringing you in, you know, we think you're good, we think that it was like, yo, we want you here, we need you here. Like, we have we'll do great things for you, man. You'll do great things here. We'll buy into you. We'll help coach you, help you achieve the dreams that you want. And I was just like, I mean, I literally right before the night, I called my dad and I was like, Dad, if I leave here and I don't commit, I'm gonna be real. That's just the dumbest thing I probably ever did, ever. And I was telling him, and I'm like, dude, like it's plain and simple. Like, this is where I need to be at, honestly, you know.
So what can fans expect to see from you on the field? What type of player are you?
I think they'll see a player that plays hard, plays through the whistle, you know, won't give up, will be there for his teammates, and will just be the best version of himself and represent Hog Nation the right way.
All right, Quinn, Tara, that's pretty good stuff. Really interesting guy there. And Quinn, how about it? He tells Tara that if he did not commit, that it was not a good decision if he didn't commit while he was here. I love that. And not that he was panicking, but he knows these coaches. He knows. I think he felt comfortable when he came here on his visit. And it's nice that he came in, loved it, and got it done.
Yeah, you want people who want to be here. And he sees how great this university is, this football program is, and playing in the best conference in America. You have everything you want to be a high-level college football player at the University of Arkansas. We got him on campus. He was able to see that. He saw that there was an opportunity for him to compete and play, and so that's really what you want. And so we talked about the linebacking core where they're gotten bigger, faster, and stronger. He's going to add to that. It should be fun to watch him grow into this role, and I think this linebacking core will be a lot better than what most people think.
Well, Quinn, as we keep on rolling here, track and field, a huge weekend, folks. Today, the men's championship in Eugene, Oregon. They started Wednesday. They go Wednesday, Friday. Friday's the most important day, but Wednesday's big too because they're handing out points. They're doing championships. And so, like the long jump, field events, all the heats, the relays, prelims, all that's on Wednesday. And then the women was Thursday, Saturday. They were actually after the men, and the women still look in great shape, led by all those, what's that word, Quinn? Plethora of 400-meter runners, about five of them. And so the women the men could still win it. There was a couple things on Wednesday that didn't go our way. We had a defending national champ that didn't end up being able to get through the heats and the prelims, and some stuff didn't go as well. Wayne Pennick, they were really hoping to get a first or second place finish fifth. There were some other ones that didn't go as well, but the 4x4 second fastest time in college. And so they're going to have a great chance to win the national championship in the 4x4. And there's still some other guys that have a chance to do some stuff in the ladies are loaded. Chris Johnson's team. So the Hogs or the men could still win it. It's gonna be a little more tough because they didn't have as good a Wednesday. But the women are lined up pretty good to have a chance to win a national championship. So hopefully on Monday we can open up the show talking about a national championship. How about it, Quinn?
Well, but they're going to be around. They're going to figure out ways to compete and be there on the last day. So both teams, men and women. So I know Coach Johnson and Coach Buck. They're over there. They're in the think tank, making things work, making things happen. And so hopefully they can pull out strike. But you got to have your big dogs eat in a meet like this. And we had one of ours, like you said, our hurdler. So yeah, that's a situation that you're going to have to find a way to overcome because I'm sure you were counting on those points to help you win another national championship. But with that said, Z, we want to wish Coach Buck and Coach Johnson and their track teams, the men's and women's, a lot of luck at nationals.
Quinn, we've had nice weather here. We had some rain on Monday and Tuesday, but we've had very, very nice weather. Arkansas needed it after all the storms and the limbs and the branches and the houses and the stuff tore up. Quinn, I want to say something. Rogers Heritage Baseball, wish all those people, everybody in Rogers, just so tore. Yeah. That Rogers Heritage Baseball, that park, all that nice facilities just tore up, man. Just tore up from the tornado from 10 days ago, 12 days ago. Just awful, man. So much damage. And Quinn, when you have all that damage, you got a lot of work to do, a lot of time, effort, and money to fix all that stuff back, Quinn. It's terrible. We talked about it. We talked about it a lot, but it's still, man, it doesn't end and go away in a day. I was seeing film that was taken yesterday from Rogers and all around Heritage and that whole just stuff, man, just destroyed.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. Like I told you, we had some family that was impacted. Kelsey was impacted, and I mean, not only are you out there cleaning and cutting and doing all that kind of stuff, but you got to be safe because I mean, if you don't know what you're doing, you can actually end up hurting yourself when you're trying to do a good thing. That's when you're trying to do a good thing with good intentions and it goes bad. But yeah, I mean, prayers are still out. I mean, even though we've escaped to Florida, hanging out in Orlando, I know the people back home are still struggling. Well, all right, Z and Tara, that's how we'll wrap up this edition of the Razorback Daily, a sport and story production. I'm Quinn Grovey alongside my man Matt Zimmerman, and we'll talk Monday.